Hello everyone, welcome to the channel Ork Mischief. I am Rob, the host, and the only person involved in making anything on this channel. So yeah, welcome in. We're going to do today the Wazbom Blastajet, taken apart by this is a Stuka, Junkers 87G model, turned into this Wazbom Blastajet. Pretty sweet little kit bash. A lot of fun. I'm going to enter it in MrModulork's Craft Clash 25 contest. It was a lot of fun to participate in the contest, and if anybody has any other contests that they know about, let me know. I want to participate. It's fun. It's cool stuff. Yeah, let's dig into this thing. Yeah, smash that fucking like and subscribe button, get that shit out of the way, and let's dive in, guys. Alright, so here we go. This is the lady, Miss Fire. We can see her forward to aft here, head to tail. I guess that's how I'll go through it. So we'll start here on the prop. This is the standard three-piece prop that comes with it. You could pin these bad boys. I pinned them as I broke them off, which I broke 2 out of 3 off, so 2 of these are pinned. The third one probably gonna get pinned at some point. Just threw some dags on there with some bolts. Of course, you got the nose art itself with Miss Fire, little goblin cutie there, hanging out. And yeah, so for these, pretty simple, not too much there. The engine itself, I didn't do anything really here. I was thinking about doing a different induction cowl here, but I didn't really want to mess up the lines, and I wanted to give myself a little bit more room for this nose art, even though nose art was kind of tough. Wanted to do something a little more complicated, but as you can see when I hold my hand here, it's kind of hard to paint this area, so ended up making it more than a little difficult on myself, but that's okay. Learn something for next time. Yeah, so the rest of the fuselage here, got the Smasha Gun. You can see that there. That's just built from the Smasha Gun from a mech gun, and then some sort of AdMech large weapon thingy that they had there. I don't really know what that was. I got an eBay bag full of AdMech bits, and so that's part of it. The hinge, I think this is from like the field ordnance battery, the guard thing. Not really sure. But anyway, it had a hole for the hinge, and it was pretty large, so I had to drill a hole into this thing. But it does actually move up and down slightly, not a huge amount. That's okay. So yeah, moving on to the cockpit. The Orks, as you can probably imagine, were too big for the glass cockpit. You can see one little piece of the glass cockpit here. That's the only one that's remaining. Just got a sepia watch on that. That's pretty much it. There was a whole glass that went over, a whole glass piece that went over, but I ended up just using the one little piece there. They also had glass in the Wazbom Blastajet itself. But I ended up not wanting to use any of that either. And they had little pods too. They had a bunch of stuff, but in the end I ended up using like almost nothing from that kit. But that's okay. So anyway, for this little guy, for the I made it like a scrap heap for this cockpit. So the pieces there, obviously that's a door from a truck. There's the Wazbom Blasta triple stick bomb shooter, that little thing there. The rest of the stuff is just kind of plastic card and some eye bar that's cut into dags. This is a piece from the shock jump drags to, I'm talking all this stuff, I don't even know if I'm on camera. This is from the shock jump drags to here as well. Cool, so yeah, everything was on camera because I got it on the super wide mode, which is by design, makes sense. Yeah, this is the diamond plate plastic card there. This is a custom force field from the Mega Knobs kit there. And let's see, I think I got a little bit of, yeah, I do. I have a little bit of the corrugated. You can see this bomb is definitely on there really well, but it is magnetism on there. This is the corrugated metal from, you can take like a Coke can and put it through this thing. I think I've talked about this before, but I've got this toothpaste squeezer thing that you can put little pieces of can through, and then it turns into corrugated metal. Really awesome. So it's like infinite corrugated metal hack. Cool. Yeah, so for the pilot himself, he is a Storm Boy, just from the standard Storm Boy kit. He has been snipped up a little bit and then glued into a chair made from like an eye bar, and then some green stuff for the cushion there. I mean, the chair that came with it, you know, obviously made for World War II German human pilots. I mean, even an American fat ass isn't going to fit in that. Definitely not this orc. Barely the goblin. He fit in the tail-gunner thing, but just barely. Let's stop and talk about assembly for a second. A lot of people use sprue goo, which I think is kind of sus. I don't really know what it is. Sometimes, to be honest, I feel like an ape playing with a bunch of weird shit that I find. So I don't trust stuff like that. It's basically sprue goo. For those of you who don't know, for those of you who do know, it's plastic that you're putting into acetone, which like partially dissolves it and makes it into this like nasty gooey stuff that's both an adhesive and like a coagulated just pile of nastiness. I don't trust it. I don't touch it. But anyway, I use just regular Starbond, not that this looks super safe, but Starbond gap filler thick is what I use. It's pretty good stuff. You can just kind of spray it with an accelerant and then it dries extremely instantly and does a very secure bond. So I use that for a gap filler in limbs, and it bubbles up when you do like the accelerant on it, and then put the bubble, or like put the glue on top of the accelerant. It kind of bubbles up. And that can be good for like muscle, scar tissue, kind of rusty bubble type stuff. But anyway, it's good for like, you know, right here actually, this is a perfect example of it. So this arm is all just glue. That's just like a big old piece of glue that is dried and it looks like muscle. But yeah, that's my technique there. I do have some plastic glue and some Tamiya extra thin, and also some Testors model glue. I have a bunch of, I don't know, I have some woo-woo glue too. I have a ton of different glues, but this is the main one I use. This is the Starbond, the good stuff. Back to our regularly scheduled program here. The stick and throttle, the stick, this is just a regular knob hand, I think, with just a little Ning bolt on there, and then I just made the bolt look like it was a button for a joystick. And then this other one is just turned to the side here. This is one from a Burna Boy arm that has been turned into a throttle, and I just took a stick from one of the Old World Goblin bows, and that's where that stick comes from. So the Tail-gunner, Vox gunner, he's doing the radios, Vox, custom force field guns. He does a lot, you know. He's a grot of many hats. He's just a Storm Boy, the Storm Boy grot head. That's why he's got his little sash there and his gogs. And he has a bomber jacket that I made out of green stuff, and both his arms are from the Old World, as well as his body is Old World as well. The quad-linked big shooters that he have here look pretty cool. But yeah, more of the AdMech Galvanic question mark. I have no idea. I don't know anything about AdMech, but it's 4 machine guns glued together and then put onto a piece of what was going to be a knob pole, and I just never got around to finishing it, and that's what that is. So cool. All right, so next up we've got the wings. So we'll give you a good look at the wingspan here, as well as the wing damage here. Check that out. And then the unique and iconic silhouette of the creature itself, with those inverted gull wings that it has there, giving it its iconic shape. You can see I did the invasion stripes. That was a sort of an allied thing during World War II, even though this is a Stuka, which is obviously an Axis bomber, but that's okay. I thought it looked cool, and then to make it pop a little bit more, I made them yellow, and then decided to make the transition a little orkier with these check mark stripes as well. The glyphs, we've got Manik and Blitz, which is like invasion. I thought, he's like a mad blitzer, you know, he's a Stuka bomber. It just makes sense. All of these different plasticard glyphs are just different pieces of plasticard that are cut to specification, and then these patches that here are also plasticard that has been heated up with a heat gun and then just kind of wrapped around to make it fit. I did do this late edition. I think I have some other pictures that show the process a little bit more. I'm sure I'll use those. But yeah, this is some wing damage. I've seen a bunch of old pictures of like airplanes. I'm a bit of a aviation enthusiast. I did fly some airplanes myself in the military. But anyway, I liked like just sort of the whole process of like what's inside these things and seeing them when they take heavy damage and then like they're still able to fly, and I thought, you know, that's perfect for orcs. So I actually looked up I went full how it's made, bleep, blorp, and I pulled away a cutaway diagram and I looked and saw what was inside there. So you can see I got a little piece of corrugated metal And then I've got 2 eye bars and some wire, and then a piece of rod. And if you look at the cutaway, that's exactly what's inside these wings. Not these, but that's what's inside the real wings in real life. So that's what I did. And then I just kind of curved them up, heated them up a little bit, and then melted or re-glued some pieces to it, chopped it up a little bit. And then dry brushed it with some black after I painted it metal to make it look like it got exploded on. And all the skin just kind of popped off, but the skeleton beneath still remains. I don't know what kind of weapon would do that. Usually an explosion would probably take all this stuff with it, but that's okay. I think it looks pretty cool. And that's what I got for the wing damage. Underneath the wings, I've got these cannon pods, which are, yes, magnetic. Always fun. So there was a little bit of a pain in the ass to get them to work with the magnets, but that's okay. They eventually did. It came with these kind of little reedy looking gun pods, the 37mm gun pods from the actual G model itself. But I decided we gotta do some las cannons and make this thing orky. So I got 2 roughly equally sized las cannons that were different. One's from the battle wagon. This one over here, the orky one, or slightly orkier one with the wires and the thick tip. That's from the battle wagon, and then this one over here is from the field ordnance battery. And then I took some rod and made them roughly equal length, and then also the length that they are on the G model of the real Stuka in real life. Just kind of put them right next to each other and eyeballed it, Ork style. But yeah, for the to get the magnets to work, you can see I've got 2 magnets in here. Yeah, my technique here with magnets, I don't know, there's probably better techniques, but what I do is I put glue and then magnets, and then I spray the accelerant on whatever I'm going to be putting the other magnets on, and then I put the magnets on top of these magnets, not using any glue yet, we're just doing magnet on magnet, and then I put glue on top of those magnets that are connected, but carefully not touching the ones that are underneath that I already have attached to part A, we'll call it. And then I take it and I press it onto the already accelerant exposed part B, and when I do, I'm going to leave it there for a while, spray more accelerant on it so that this glue dries, so then the new magnets have just adhered to the new surface, and I can pull this away, and then my magnets are then adhered to the new surface. And that's what I did here. And that's how I get these to face forward and place 2 magnets at the same time, because it's tough. It's tough to do. So I don't know. Had to come up with that on the fly, and that's what I do. And then on the tail here, we've just got 4 glyphs. We've got manik, Daka, Blitz, and First Strike. I think, I don't know. You see that little zzz all the time. But anyway, that's what my guy is. He's a first striker, manik, blitzer, yeah, Daka, all that kind of stuff. Tail number 420, I mean, need I say more? The edges of this tail, pretty much everything is all stock here, but the edges of this tail are from the Shock Jump Dragsta spoiler, which I ripped off, which is a spoiler for my next project, ironically. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much all I got for the fuselage and wings and tail. We'll move on to the gear. These are iconic fixed gear that they had with these pants that they used to wear. I plated them with some chipped plastic card sort of armor to make them look like fancy pants. And it looks kind of cool, but originally I thought in my stupor that I was going to cover the entire plane in these little plates, and then I was like, no, that's a huge pain in the ass, and it makes it like it's going to make it really big and crazy looking. So I figured, no, we'll just do a couple patches, and this looks better anyway. So the main feature of these bad boys, which I want to point out, is these Horns of Jericork. So these are the squig horns of Jericork is what we've got in Orkland. You can see the pink one and the orange one here. Yeah, that's what gives you the classic sound, but obviously they're gonna go WAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAA real life didn't have them because this was a shooty model, not a dive bomby model. But mine does need them because we're orcs, and is there anything orkier than a thing that just like screams as you drop bombs on people? Like that's awesome. It's just good stuff. Those are sculpted from green stuff, and for green stuff, I don't know, I have a love-hate relationship with that stuff, but it's very like squishy when you first get to use it, so that's good for like making faces, but it's not good for like keeping the body underneath that you're making the face on top of, if that makes any sense. So when I did these, you can see there's kind of like a little bulge in here, and when I sculpted them on top of a ball bearing, or at least maybe just that one. I don't know. Green stuff's always tricky. But anyway, I think I used a ball bearing for this body and then a little piece of tube for the tail, because it's kind of hard to get a little like a rigidity in green stuff creatures when you're making them. But these turned out pretty good. They got the little exit pipes to put out their wahs, and yeah, I don't know, they're good stuff. I like them. Originally bred as a joke squig, obviously. You'd chomp them on your buddy's butt, and then every time they fart, they make a funny sound, and even a funnier sound, I guess. Well, a fart's already funny. But these, you know, we've got these little like turbines that spool up and then put like, you know, crazy amounts of air into these squig horns, and that's good stuff right there. Moving on to the Long Night, this bomb here. This is a very large bomb, which is held in place by magnets and also by this grot. I mean, you can't have a Stuka dive bomber without a dive bomb, so that's why this guy's here. But he's got a little handlebar that he has attached up there that he'll pull, and that is a redundancy type situation. You know, the grot holds there for dear life, and then if the pilot blacks out, then he pulls the lever and drops the bomb. And that'll also automatically pull the plane out of a dive, because that's what the real Stukas did. They didn't have a grot involved, but you know, they didn't have an excess of grots that they could use. So if they did, I bet they could have. If they did, I bet they would have, is what I mean. But anyway, the bomb itself is it's kind of interesting by itself, I guess. It is a paint pot, which you can probably tell by looking at it. I don't know. The goal of kitbashing a paint pot is that you don't know it's a paint pot when you look at it, but in this case, I think it kind of works just because the little stubby bombness of it kind of works that way. But yeah, it's just some plastic card and some bolts as usual. I've been saying that quite a bit today. This is gardening wire that's painted, plastic card, fins. This grot is actually a 3D print. I think it's a Duncan Shadow one that I've had for a super long time. It had a broken arm, and it was just like sitting in my pile of extra stuff for like forever. And then I got a little mech arm, and I put that on him, and I was like, you know, what am I going to do with this thing? I finally found a use for him, so he's finally found a home. But I've had this guy sitting there with his goggles painted since my days of D&D. I painted this guy, you know, well back before I was even into 40k. But yeah, this is from the Beast Boss, I believe. And then this little targeting camera thing is from the Devastator Squad Space Marine shenanigans, which I'm going to be kitbashing something out of that later. But yeah, got some extra bits there. Cool. I think that pretty much takes us to the end here. The base, I mean, the base is 3D printed. Nothing too crazy there. There wasn't a standard 40k flying base out there available in 3D print land, which was kind of frustrating. So I just took one that it did exist, and then I moved the flight stand back on it, and then I widened it and changed the dimensions so that it fits the, I don't know, what is it, 120 by 93, something like that. If I remember those numbers correctly, that's a minor miracle by itself. But yeah, whatever it is, I made it that, and then just, you know, printed it out. Obviously painted this black. I actually like black more than clear. I think clear draws too much, like more attention than it not being there. It's not invisible. I'm not a bird, you know. You're not confusing me by making it clear. But yeah, I put a couple of tufts, little Space Marine head, and some cork rocks, tactical cork rocks, and obviously some weed stems. You know, that's just standard stuff. That's pretty much all I got. Yeah, make sure you stick around. I make more of these videos. I make them probably monthly, I think, something around there. I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna jam a million videos down your throat, but I'm also not gonna, you know, you're not gonna never hear from me again. So pretty much perfect, really. You know, like I said, become my 7th subscriber. I don't have many, but I have a lot of ideas. I have more orc ideas than I have subscribers, but you guys thanks for stopping by. It's honestly, it is very encouraging, and I love the community of the Orks. It's what keeps me coming back, and I'm really glad that I got to participate in this contest, and I'm gonna definitely do more stuff like this in the future. And cool. Wow, that was terrible. I'll probably edit that out.